You know it's true, Alex. Okay, so where's my wonderful Billy? I choose a different mount. I'm a little sad, but that's what happens. So again, we look at the enemy heroes. Reyna, Falza, 2 auto attackers, only 1 mage. Nazeebo is kind of a mage, so you have to be a little bit careful with that. I don't feel that these matches are going very long. So Regeneration Master, together the little globes that drop from the wizard minions, is not my favorite here. I'm probably going to go Reinforce, just to, again, try to counter Raynor and Falzat. My team is splitting up, 2 in the top, 2 in the bottom, which is totally fine to do on Cursed. Also Illidan is taking the Watchtower, that's really good. For me, I'm going to focus on trying to clear waves very quickly and then see where my teammates might need help. So Johanna is a pretty okay solo laner. I'm just dodging the blizzard here. She's an okay solo laner. I have 2 people against me, so I have to be a little bit careful. I'm just going to charge in, use my Condemn, and now use my Punish. So I went W and Q, and now I'm blinding the enemy minions with my E. Why do I do this? Basically, this allows me to help my minions survive longer. And as you can see, while the enemy minions are all dead, my minions are still alive. That being said, obviously the enemy Johanna is not doing anything at the moment, so that's a big reason why that happens. Again, this is normally how you gonna combo your abilities. You're gonna go in, W, then you press Q. As the stun on the Condemn is very short, you don't have to time it anymore as you did in the past. In the past you wanted to avoid using your E early, and I'm gonna back up here to not take more damage. You wanted to avoid to use the E early because the minions were still stunned, and you want to have the full effectiveness on your abilities. Again, W, Q, and E. And as you can see, the wave clear is pretty good. Now you just saw above my head, unstoppable. I used my Iron Skin to get away from the damage that Jaina was pulling out on me. And I'm just gonna sit back because there are 2 enemies to not get hit by them anymore. Again, the usability on me, that's fine. So, level 4. There are a couple of talents on this level that are only super effective when you have teammates, I think. Amplified healing, I like to take when I have a healer in my team. If I don't have a healer, it's pretty okay, but it's not super effective. That being said, it increases all kind of healing. So gathering up this green globe here, for example, would give me more healing if I had amplified healing. Roar, I rarely ever take. It does more damage to everything that you hit with Punish, which kind of sounds cool because it's more damage, and damage is always pew pew. But spending Roar on minions is already pretty effective, so you don't want to necessarily do more damage with it, and there's better choices on this tier. My Illidan is already taking the Curse Tribute, so I don't have to rotate up. I was also a little bit late because I was explaining. So, let's go on further in level 4. Eternal Retaliation basically lowers your cooldown depending on how many targets you hit. So this is pretty useful if you have to use Condemn a lot. One of the examples would be Tomb of the Spider Queen, where you can rotate up and down in the lanes because they're so short, and you hit multiple targets at once all the time. With this, you have more Condemns up, and you can use it more often. That's really helpful, again, if you have to wave clear a lot. Laws of Hope is my go-to for most of the matches because it gives you another heal. Laws of Hope basically gives you passive regeneration as a selected talent, and also gives you an active heal when you press 1. So I'm going to do this, and as you can see, my bar is super full right now because I've used Laws of Hope right now. So my heal is pretty high and also tapped, obviously. But it's really good because it gives you another way of healing up. When you play Hero League or when you play Quick Match, with or without a healer, you oftentimes can't... well, I'm just going to check the tribute. You can't rely on them doing all the healing for you, especially because as a tank, you want to avoid having to be the main healing target. Because if you have to heal the tank, it's going to be difficult for them to use the heals for anything else. So having condemn, having Laws of Hope means that somebody else can be healed while I'm healing myself. I just blocked Johanna there to provide her, stop her from doing any movements up towards the Curse Tribute. We're team fighting here, as we can see. I'm gonna blind the Rainer here, but it was a little bit too late. I'm trying to get the punish off. Missed it, but our Illidan gets it. So we're still fighting, and we're gonna do this. Nice, he actually attacked the boss. Now we have to be a little bit careful. I think she's dead, yeah. Okay. That's the problem with heroes, you're always fighting. So, level 7. We arrived. Blessed Momentum is basically battle momentum for Johanna. Blessed Momentum means that you can attack enemy units, and whenever you attack anything, your basic cooldowns are reduced by 0.5 seconds. This is very, very useful if you need to use your abilities more often. And it actually works very well with the level 4 if you go on Eternal Retaliation, because then you have your abilities up all the time. I'm gonna help my Rainer here. That's my Condemn. I stunned him, now I slowed him, and I'm gonna follow him. But that's enough already, because we get the Tribute here, and with that we get the Curse. So, back to level 7 talents. Blessed Momentum, again, really good if you can use more abilities per minute, let's put it this way. But it also means you're using more mana, obviously. The more abilities you use, the more cooldowns you have, the more mana you will take. And again, Johanna is kind of mana starving, so you have to be a little bit careful. Again, use my Condemn on Jaina, and then I punish her right away, so that she's slowed and my attackers can attack her. Conviction is pretty much my go-to talent on Johanna. It will give you movement speed on your Condemn, on your W, which means that basically you are just always able to chase behind enemies. And also, because you're faster, might catch up on them and then stun them and pull them towards you. It's gonna stay mid because they're closing into level 10, so I don't want to actually fight there necessarily. So when my allies are bottom, I'm just gonna move away from here. The Crusade marches on is also very good for your Iron Skin, obviously, but it's also very good for fighting. So if you fight a lot, you will oftentimes need Iron Skin more reliably. So using the Crusade marches on basically gives you more Iron Skins when you hit things. It's actually a pretty good talent, especially in cases where the enemy has a lot of slows. Obviously you don't want to use Iron Skin all the time for every slow that happens on you, but obviously you also want to die. So actually gonna run away here with my Iron Skin. So she used Water Elemental for nothing. Skin Exposed, bonus damage when you blind the enemy. I think it's good if you're ahead, because it gives you more damage on enemies that already are taking more damage from your talent advantages and everything. So being able to provide more damage to your out-attackers by you just lowering the enemy health is pretty good. Again, I used Punish and Condemn to do more damage to Jaina. So, again, normally I use Conviction. I love the movement speed, and we're gonna see it in action quite a bit. I already showed you the heroics. My go-to is definitely Best Shield. I just love the stun that it gives you. As you can see now, I walk more quickly when I use Condemn. And I'm gonna use my heroic now to stun all of these guys. I'm gonna use Iron Skin right now to prevent more damage, but also to prevent the Rainer to stun me or knock me back with his Q. And then also just kill everybody. Excellent. So, level 13, talents are pretty much viable, all of them, but you also need to think about what you want to do with them. So Burning Rage is giving you the perfect wave clear, basically. As you can see, when I just W and Q, the waves don't die completely. With Burning Rage, you basically get the ability to just clear everything very quickly. So again, W and Q. As you can see, the minions are still pretty much alive, most of them. With Burning Rage, it makes it easier to actually kill a complete wave. Hold your ground. Nice Ring of Frost here. Hold your ground will reduce your Iron Skin cooldown if it's broken. I'm gonna stun here and then use my E and then my Iron Skin. So now I also have Laws of Hope up, so I actually am pretty safe right now. So escaping here was very important by using my stun on both of the enemies. Then I blinded Raynor, and then I used my Iron Skin and my Laws of Hope to escape. This makes Johanna pretty powerful because you basically have those talents and basic abilities that allow you to survive those attacks and try to attack and counter enemy heroes. So again, hold your ground, more chances for you to reduce your Iron Skin cooldown. I think it's pretty good, especially against hard hitters with Giant Killer. So basically, if you have a lot of all attackers in the enemy team and you know that they're trying to burst through your Iron Skin, this can actually be pretty good. We're gonna attack here on the Nazeebo, stunned him, and now I'm gonna slow him, even though he's already slowed from the Blizzard, just to do a little bit more damage. Not necessarily the best use of my abilities. That being said, when you want to have somebody killed, you probably want to use all of your abilities as much as possible. And then Spell Shield. Spell Shield is pretty late on the tiers. It's on level 13, so basically if you have problems with the spellcasters in your enemy team, you can go Spell Shield to prevent spell damage to your hero. I normally like Burning Rage because it just helps so much with... We're gonna go in here. Again, he's slowed now. I'm gonna use my shield. I'm gonna blind them now so I can survive the attack from them. And then now I have to move away. Iron Skin and Laws of Hope. As you can see, this let me survive pretty much every damage that they gave to me there. While my guys are still attacking here, we're gonna go level 16. There are a lot of talents that I don't like so much on this tier, just because it is not as obvious what they do or how useful they are. I'm just gonna chase here while my enemy, my ally team is just running away. I think the Illidan is too low for us to finish it. It's actually also a bot, so I'm just gonna ping him. So on 16, I'm not 100% happy with the talent tree here. Holy Renewal, it sounds really cool to get the heal off, and sometimes the effect looks cool and you get quite a bit of heal out of it. That being said, you normally don't want to use your shield glare to heal yourself or wait for you to drop in health and then heal with your E. You want to use it proactively by blinding enemy heroes. So having the heal oftentimes, at least for me, leads to me waiting for me to drop in life, or using it when I need the heal rather than when we actually need the blind. Obviously, having a heal is pretty good, so you can't be unhappy with it. And the Gerds Onus are spamming. Perfect. Hi, guys. Oh, we're gonna go fight here. I'm just gonna use my stun, long range, to prevent Raynor from killing my Jaina. And then I'm gonna use my Condemn here, and my Punish, and my Shield Glare. So this is basically the combo that you're using on most of your enemies, is Condemn, Punish, and then Shield Glare. And we're gonna go walk here to see if we can catch the Nazeebo that is hiding in here. There he is. Oh. Bye-bye. Fanaticism, again another Iron Skin talent. You get movement speed, which is really good. And every time you take an attack, you speed up even more. So it sounds pretty cool because you can use it as an escape, because you can use it as an engagement basically, unless they attack you while you're engaging, which is sometimes happening but sometimes not. This sounds pretty cool, but then again, you're using your Iron Skin to basically get a buff from it, while you want to use Iron Skin more in situations where you're like gonna be CC'd, or you want to avoid being CC'd. So using Iron Skin for that, to get speed buff by being attacked, is also leading you in that slippery slope where you're like, oh, I'm using Iron Skin to basically... Oh, I used the wrong button there. I wanted to press E. I used Iron Skin here preemptively because I knew that he wanted to gust me, and I'm going to use my shield now to stun him, to get onto him. I missed my Q, therefore he will probably survive and I'm gonna back up. If I played this a little bit better, I probably would have killed him. If I used my E earlier instead of my Q, I would have had another Q and would have done more damage to him. Okay, so Fanaticism, meh. Blast Hammer does damage when you use Q with W. It's also a little meh because it basically spills around you. You can't really control where it does damage, and it also tells enemies where you are because it just gives you a huge hammer around your body, and everybody can see it. So it can break Fog of War and everything. So, also not a big fan. Imposing Presence, which we're gonna take now as well, is I think the most stable talent on this tier. It helps you a lot against auto attackers, and I'm gonna use it right now. It basically... Oh, he rolled into us. I'm gonna stun him. And I'm gonna use Eternal Devotion and Iron Skin. No, not Eternal Devotion, Rose of Hope, sorry. So I use my Wand Key and my trait. And we're gonna clean up here. And I don't want to die, so I'm just gonna use already my level 20 talent because I know what I want to skill. And you see it in effect right here, but we're gonna explain it in a second. So, Imposing Presence, basically, passively it just removes, well, not removes, it slows down enemy attackers when they auto-attack you. So their attack speed is reduced by 20% for 2.5 seconds. This means the Rainers and the Valas and everything else that auto-attacks you will have slower attack speed. This is really, really good against those heavy hitters, again, that have Giant Killer. It also has an active, so if you activate it, the attack speed is, their attack speed slow is going to be up by 50%, but it also decreases their movement speed. So this is really good because it slows down enemies even more. So if you already use Punish, you can use Imposing Presence to slow enemies down even further. Obviously, it's very good against auto attackers, as I said, but it also can help against mages or whatever because you can chase more easily or you can get away from them. Very nice zombie wall here. And we're gonna go in here. So I want to have the Rainer attack me. There you go. He attacks me, and now his attack speed, even with the aura that he has, the buff that he has, is much, much slower. And I did a poor job there to anticipate the enemy attacks. So I'm going to blind them now, and I'm actually going to use my... No, I'm not going to use it. I was thinking about using my Blessed Shield to escape, but it's not necessary in this case. On level 20, you have a couple of heroic upgrades. Both of them are okay. Heaven's Fury does more damage and looks cool, and looking cool is also always very important. I'm gonna stun here with my Blessed Shield. And I'm gonna use Imposing Presence so that the Jaina is even more slowed. And now I'm also using my Punish, so she was even triple slowed. So that was really just combining all of my abilities. Blessed Shield into Condemn, into Slow, from Imposing Presence into Punish. And he's just dead. And that should be game now. So both heroic upgrades are pretty good. I think that the Blessed Shield upgrade is a little bit misleading because its duration by 33% sounds like it's a lot, but actually the 33% of 0.75 is not that much. So you basically, I think, have the old stun back, which was 1.25 seconds or something. So it gets a little bit stronger, but it's not like 5 seconds stun or anything. But it definitely can help with the duration. I'm gonna go in here. Oh, I actually pulled him out of it. That was not what I wanted to do. Again, using Imposing Presence, also using Iron Skin, and then I'm gonna use Blessed Shield to stun him and kill him. The talent that I went for, you already saw it twice, is Indestructible. And I think it's one of the best talents on this tier for Johanna, and also one of the best talents in game. It basically makes you invulnerable. It gives you a huge shield that will make you survive pretty much everything that enemies can throw at you. Instead of dying, you basically get a shield which is equal to my maximum health. So in this case, I currently have 5,800 HP, so I'm getting a 5,800 HP, well, 5,800 number, I don't know what you want to call it, shield, that saves me from dying. And not dying is always good. It has several advantages over everything else because it basically gives me not only a huge shield, but it also allows me to bait enemies into stupid things. We're going to talk about that in a second when we get out of the game. Victory. As you can see, Johanna has a lot of abilities that you can queue in together, and sometimes you will have the option to do it to chase an enemy. And I think that's one of her strengths, that she's a very good chasing tank, which allows you to be effective. And we're going to go up for Nazeebo. And we're also going to exit. So looking at the talents, thank you Spiegelbert for the follow. I also like Curse Hollow. So looking at the talents, again, Indestructible just gives you a chance to bait enemies to do something that they don't want to do. A target that is out of position, that is in the front line or is very deep in the enemy lines, you always want to attack because it makes it easy for you to do damage, right? It's a close target, it does a lot of damage, or it will take a lot of damage, and you might even kill it. Indestructible has that bait factor where it's like everybody's using all of their super strong abilities on you because you're out of position, and then you still survive. This is really strong because a lot of people in non-coordinated play will just use their abilities on whatever they see first. So Johanna can tank a lot of damage and still survive this. And then obviously things like missing or doing a misplay yourself, this can also save you. It comes down to very simple things like getting rooted by bosses, getting hit by stuns you shouldn't be hit by, being in the wrong time, maybe tanking a mercenary camp and you dying. This is a very newbie friendly talent as well, because it just heals you instead of killing you. Well, it's not a heal, but it shields you instead of killing you.